The other thing is that, many modern women don't need much from us. They already have a job to pay the bills. They already have, um, a place to live. Like they already have a lot of those things, so they don't really need anything from us. So when we chase them, it's not really balanced. It's like they have their body, and that's what drives us to go for them, right? Sex. Like that's what drives a man largely. But what they how to explain this? But they have everything they need. In the past it was balanced, right? They needed us to pay the bills, and they needed our leadership, and they needed our, basically just masculinity. So they needed something from us, and we were driven to get something from them. We were driven sexually, right? Even though we wanted to be good fathers or whatever, that was a number one driving force. But there's nothing they really need from us anymore. At least they think that there's nothing they need. So when we pursue them, it's as if we're just begging. It's as if we're begging them. But, in the past, let's say we sexualized a woman, they call it whatever they call it, or we're really sexually attracted to a woman, well, she knew that she also needed something from us. So the trade was equal, not like making it totally transactional, but it made sense. But modern women, even if they're turned on by the idea of a man providing for them, they can still be like, well, I like the feeling of being empowered by paying for myself, and then they get a high and a rise out of that. So it's like, yeah, chasing a woman long term, it doesn't really make sense, because from the start she can just deem that she doesn't need anything from you. Also, it's like they can get the ick way easier, because like for us, a woman's body, where we're very sexually attracted and drawn to her. So if she does something that would give us the ick or whatever, well, our sex drive is gonna cancel that out, because we're not gonna get icked out, because our sex drive is so strong that it makes us not get icked out. But for women, there's nothing they really need from us, so it's way easier for them to get the ick and just move on by just little things that we do, because like I'm saying, there's nothing they really need from us. So chasing the woman long term, it's just like there's just so much room for error on our part that it's like, I don't know, it's too hard to get past it. This is why men are literally on YouTube for hours and hours and hours trying to figure out how to talk with a woman, right? Because it's so hard these days, because there's so much margin for error. It's almost as if we're playing a game now, like whoever can make it the farthest with a woman. But I think in the past, and I know that this is true, because I've seen, older couples where the dad really doesn't have any game, right? He doesn't really have any game. He's not that good at communicating. He's quite anxious, quite, not very dominant, this, that, and a third. But yeah, he got a wife probably 5 times easier than the modern man can get, right? Because at that time, the woman needed something from him. She needed his money to pay. She needed his leadership. I got a lot more to say in this video, but one major thing is that this is why nonchalance entered into the mix. Is that men who are nonchalant, that's the only way to prove their power, to prove status, to prove that they don't care. And I think that is ultimately why men stop chasing women, is because acting nonchalant, acting like you don't care, became the only way to differentiate yourself from other men. It became the only way to stand out, because you start to have to act like you don't care. right? In order to intrigue women. Because if there's nothing else that they need from you, then you have to make yourself seem like you're exclusive, right? In the past, it didn't have to be like that, right? It's like, let's say that analogy would be like, let's say if you're, hungry, all somebody has to do is give you an apple, right? But if you're not hungry at all, you don't need anything, then that person has to make the apple seem like it's like there's something extra to it. Oh, this is a special apple, it's exclusive, nobody can eat it, and then they think, oh wow, awesome. Like that's how men think now. Because the woman doesn't feel like she needs anything from us, men start acting nonchalant and mysterious to make the woman intrigued. So yeah, that's a big reason why men don't chase, because they want to look nonchalant. All right. Okay, another thing is that in the past, your job was to like break her away from her father, She was connected to her father, and that was her leader, right? And that could take a long time in order to replace her father. That could take months or years or whatever. So it made sense that you could try to prove to her that you're just like her father, you're just as good as her, at least for your age. You're just as good as him, at least for your age, and that your job was to essentially replace him, right? To take her away from her father and marry her. But a lot of modern women aren't connected to their fathers. They don't really care. The father doesn't really have a say over their life. So you're not really replacing him. So it doesn't really make sense, to try to enter into her family or be around her family, right? Like in the past, there was like that protective barrier around women, with the brothers and the whole family, the father, the mother. So your job was to enter in, which could take a long time, right? But now that's not even really the case. That goal is not there anymore. So why would a man really care to to put in that work, right? Okay, that leads me to my next point, that the reward was marriage if you got her, right? So chasing made a lot of sense. And not only, it made sense both ways. The man wanted the woman, he wanted to marry her, so it was a big reward, right? And also, the man didn't look stupid because he was actually, going for a big goal, so the woman wouldn't think he was stupid for chasing her. But now I think modern women, it's not even probably just the women, it's just men in general, men too, but modern women are so, I think they even know that they're not marriage material. They even know it intuitively. So when you chase a woman and be so romantic and want to marry her, she just thinks you're stupid, or she just thinks you're creepy. Why does this man want to marry me? Why does this man going for me? Because she knows intuitively that she doesn't have really any marriage material values or habits. So it's like, she even knows that she if she thinks you're dumb, it's because she knows that she's dumb, right? So she's thinking you're dumb for chasing her, because why would a smart person chase a dumb person? You know what I'm saying? That's literally how they think, but they're not going to recognize that in themselves. They're just going to project it onto you and think that you're stupid for trying to marry her and chase her, right? And on a related note, I think, since the reward, it really isn't marriage when you pursue them, she probably believes that the reward is getting sex with her. And it's just like, I feel like that's because many women are not like virgin. So I feel like they're just going to hold that against you, and I think modern women would rather, they would rather get an ego pump by knowing that they're not going to give it to you than by actually enjoying the act of sex with a man. You know, and I'm not even necessarily supporting like sex outside of marriage, but I'm saying I think that that's what they do. They enjoy the power that it has over the man by not giving it to him, you know, opposed to actually wanting to do that physical act with the man. And it's like, it don't even make sense. Like, at least if you're gonna be human, at least just enjoy the act of sex with another person, rather than using that as a wedge to keep men away but also keep them hooked, right? And you know, so why would a man want to chase a woman if he believes that that's the reward? The reward is that he just becomes her fan who he can't get anything from, right? And I think there's so much other confusion with modern women. It's like a lot of them will post sexualized photos, and then they'll think that, and then when you ask them out, they think, oh, he's just trying to have sex with me, right? This is why if a woman is like wearing her gym outfit, you can't get her number, because she just thinks, oh, he's trying to have sex with me, after she already sexualized herself by wearing that outfit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's like a lot of the time it just doesn't make sense, because the more you chase, the more they reduce you to just being a lustful like man who can't control himself, and it just essentially emasculates you, right? Because as you're trying to pursue something real with them, I think they just think, oh, he's just trying to have sex, blah blah blah. So it just makes you feel stupid about yourself, right? But if they dressed up modestly, then at least they'd know that we wanted something more. But now they fucking, excuse my language, they dress up immodestly and then get mad or get uncomfortable when the man approaches, right? And I know this stuff because I've approached women, you know, like I know where a certain gym is in my area, and I've approached women when they were walking about, you know, a quarter mile away from the gym, probably going home or whatever, and they're in their gym outfit. And when I talk to women when they're in their gym outfit, the sports bra, the booty shorts, yoga pant, booty shorts or whatever, they're uncomfortable, right? But when I approach women when they're not wearing that, when they're dressed modestly, they're a lot more comfortable. So the thing is that they literally set themselves up to think that you're overly sexual just because you approach them while they're dressed in their gym outfit. And it's like, well, why the hell did you wear it? If you don't like men, if you have a cynicism or a fear of men when you wear that outfit, then why do you wear it? Right? So this is the type of thing that men are experiencing when trying to go after a woman. So it's like, it just don't really make sense, bro. One of the last things I want to talk about is like the overall decreasing like sentimentality in society. Like, people are not as sentimental anymore. I've talked about this in my other videos. They don't necessarily care about thoughtful text, thoughtfulness. Like, so if you chase a woman by, you know, sending her some thoughtful text that's well written, she's more likely to just think that you're annoying, right? Think that you're just simply trying hard, or she'll think that you have an agenda. Like, if you're nice, oh, it goes back to, oh, he's just trying to get sex. Oh, he doesn't care about me anyways, or something like that. So it's like some dudes who show that they don't care by acting nonchalant or acting rude or something like that, they actually consider that these men are more honest than the guy who's actually nice. So the guy who's actually rude or immoral ends up looking like he's more authentic and more honest. So it's like you can't even chase a woman, you have to act like you don't care, because the dude who acts like he doesn't care is somehow more honest because she thinks that he doesn't care. So when he acts like he doesn't care about her feelings or anything, it's seen as authentic, it's seen as righteous and honest. So this is why another reason why men don't chase women. But I want to go back to that point about being sentimental, that I think a lot of women don't care about thoughtfulness anymore. They don't care if the man randomly brings flowers to their work. They'd probably just be creeped out by it. So a man continuing to try and being thoughtful, it's like they don't really care. Like, I've sent thoughtful texts to women before, well written, perfect grammar, capitalize all the letters, punctuation, things like that, and thoughtfulness, and I get back like an abbreviation, like a half sentence text that has like 2 abbreviations in it, and like didn't know punctuation, no, it's not even grammatically correct, like one word is misspelled and the first letter is not even capitalized, and it's just like, well, why did I send that sentimental text? Like, I'm a man, why am I more sentimental than you? Like, why do I write more poetic or more thoughtful than a woman? That don't even make sense, bro. So it's like, since a lot of women are not sentimental anymore, it's like they, chasing them, it's like a lost cause. They're just gonna think that you're annoying or that you're weird or that you care too much. Oh, it's like, oh, like me, care about me, but the second that you care about me, I'm gonna think you're a loser. Because real men, the man who will get with me is the one that doesn't care about me. Oh, but you do have to care about me. It's so confusing. It's so confusing for modern men. So they just freeze up, or they just act nonchalant, And then there truly is a fear, and I don't want to validate these thoughts that much, but there truly is a fear of men actually being accused of harassment by approaching the wrong woman. How do you know she's, or even by chasing her, like by double texting her, asking her out multiple times. Like, men don't want to end up, getting told that they're harassing her, that they can't take a hint, that they're creepy. Men don't want that. They don't want rumors spread about them like that. And like I'm saying, society already doesn't respect men that much. So men are holding on to their ego as hard as they can because they don't want to be disrespected, right? Like, in the past, a woman could turn down a man and then he would still have respect. He would still get called sir, mister. Like, there was still levels of respect. Someone would shake his hand. He wore a suit, the women wore a dress. So when he wore that suit, he knew that he was respected. But modern women, no. Modern society doesn't really respect men. Now, with all this being said, I do believe that there are some women that still should be chased. Sadly, I think most of these women they're not gonna be from the West. These are gonna be women from the East. It's not always, there's women who are not worth chasing anywhere, right? But a lot of the time these women will come from Eastern cultures. They'll be like, I think, is Ukraine considered East? I don't know. Maybe that's also considered West. But they'll be like from Ukraine. Maybe they'll be from Russia. Maybe they'll be from, Korea or Japan. Maybe China. Maybe Africa, South America. Like, they'll be in, it's not necessarily Eastern, but they'll be in certain types of countries or cultures, or there'll be certain religions, like Christian. If they're Christian, they'll probably be like that. And I just generally think that if you are a woman watching this and you want to be chased, I think that there is many things you can do. Like, for one, have a close relationship with your father, and if you don't deem your father as caring about that type of wisdom, then have a male leader between you and somebody and the world. I don't know if that could be a pastor or something like this. So value his word. Hopefully he is wise. Value his presence rather than attention, right? So men don't think that you're just attention oriented. If you have social media, I recommend not using it as a weapon, like a currency. And it's not about how many followers you can get, right? Do not allow your follower count to get way out of whack, like to where there's like 500 more people following you than you have followers. My recommendation is actually make the amount of people that you follow higher than the amount of followers that you have. Men really like that, right? So if that means if you have to follow celebrities or follow cooking pages or workout pages or something like that on Instagram just to get the amount of people you follow higher than your follower count, do that, right? Another thing you can do is dress modestly, right? And value wisdom, value building a life, a family, rather than just getting attention, right? And men, I think men will pick up on this, because there's women that I will chase, and there's women that I will double and triple text because it's worth it, because I know that that's how they are. They may have a fear of me, but they don't think I'm stupid when I double text. I think a while back I made a video on why men should double text, but there was caveats like, I mean, you can even try with certain women to double text. You could try with any woman. I actually do recommend double texting, but there's certain women that I would triple text for, because I think that they're worth it, right? But yeah, I think you can do it. If you're a woman, you can be worth chasing. If you have tattoos, I recommend removing them. I'm sorry, but you just want to be all around modest woman, and you can be sexy without being sexual, if that makes sense. Like there's tons of like classic clothing, like dress pants and high heels and dresses and doing your hair in a certain way and makeup that is more towards natural and just carrying yourself with class, right? And yeah, you can be worth chasing. I definitely think so, but it's gonna take some trial and error, and then maybe some men might start trying to chase you. And I think that you'll enjoy it. I think that you'll enjoy having a man chase you. I think a woman will truly enjoy it if she doesn't think that he's stupid. If she can opt out of that thinking, oh, he's chasing me, look how dumb he is. Look at him try. If she can opt out of that type of thinking and actually think, wow, I'm actually being chased by a man actually cares and he's confident in himself, and at some point I'm gonna say yes to him. I think that she will actually enjoy that type of dynamic, and those are the dynamics that I think you see in romance movies that women like, right? So I think that's the dynamic that you see in 50 Shades. You see, Christian Grey chasing what's her name, Anne, and at first Anne's very creeped out by him. She's kind of scared. She doesn't have a bitterness towards him. It's just a fear. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to hone in. Like, the good women, they don't have a bitterness towards men. It's just a fear of men, right? No bitterness, just a fear. You see that with Anna in 50 Shades. She's scared. She has a fear of him, but she's also in awe of him. And I feel like that's actually like how a Christian has a relationship with God, right? There's a fear of God, but also in awe, right? But the modern women, no, they don't have that. It's like they're either fearful of the man, or they just indifferent about men, or they just don't care, or they're actually angry or bitter towards the men. But it's not like a combination between fear and being in awe. Like, if you're truly feminine women are like that. Like, they're attracted to you, but they're also afraid of you. And I know that, because I know this girl from Kyrgyzstan who I run into sometimes. And whenever I run into her, she's like trying to be friendly, but like at the same time it's hard for her, like, so she'll kind of like look away and like she'll end the conversation quick, but like she's trying, you know, like she'll try to like ask me some questions and then like smile and stuff, but like she leaves in fear, because it's like, I mean, and she's warmed up to me over time. At first it was even worse than that. At first she would just like barely like smile and say hi and then just like walk away, right? But truly feminine women, they usually have a fear of you and they're attracted to you at the same time, right? So I don't know, you need to cultivate, if you're a woman, you somehow need to cultivate that, right? To not look at all men the same, looking for the good men, and guard your one good man and guard your heart in between that time. Okay, this video is getting heck long. All right, my nails are so long and dirty, I need to go cut them. Peace out.